Hey everyone, welcome back to another awesome project on the channel. So in this project, we'll be building a full stack anonymous confession app for college campuses built entirely with React Native. We'll be using the Expo framework and Supabase as the backend for storing all of the details, your replies, your threads, and all other implementations. So the idea is simple. You pick your college, post something anonymously, and react to what everyone else on your campus is saying. You can also add comments to confessions, even that feature is available. So this is basically the entire demo of the application. We have two tabs, your home tab and the explore tab. So everything is going to be shown onto the home itself. That is your wall, that is for that specific campus. So currently, PES University is selected, and over here all of the confessions are added onto the wall of this specific college. All right, you can react to confessions, you can unreact. Okay, everything is going to be shown properly fine. And yeah, it's going to be a very simple beginner friendly project, but fun to build along with. So you can press on the plus button and you can try to add a confession. You can choose the category, like it's either going to be a confession, a rant, a funny thing, or a advice comment. Okay, everything is going to work properly fine. So let's say I want to add advice over here. I'm just going to add a random piece of string. Okay, something random, post, and boom, just like that it got added to the latest one over here. And again, this confession can be reacted, can also be reported as well, and even the date is going to be shown. As you can see, all of these are just now over here, and this was added 6 minutes ago, this was added 1 day ago. All right, and all of the confessions are going to be synced live in real time and no login required. And we're going to go into a better implementation over here, and we're going to build a fully campus scoped feed with all of the trending posts as well. Okay, and also a live leaderboard. If at all we have time, we're going to build that as well, but I'll be giving you the code for that. Yeah, and also by the end of the video, you'll be having a properly production shaped application, that is for a confession based application where you can post things anonymously as comments, and you can also try to reply as well. So let's say I go on to this one. Okay, as you can see, I've just added a test reply. You can add in more replies. I can just say, wow, this is amazing, some random reply. And I'm just going to say post. There you go, that got added over here, and even in the backend also it got updated, that is in Supabase. So what's the backend we're going to build in? Okay, so yeah, that's what we'll be building. It's going to be a very simple beginner friendly application. So yeah, if you found this interesting, please hit the like button and do subscribe for more such content. And you can also try to choose your colleges. So once you press on view all, it's going to show all of the confessions from all of the campuses. Okay, you can also choose your campus over here. Okay, so let's say I chose the Christ University, so there are no confessions added to this specific campus or college, so that's the reason it's showing no confessions yet. Be the first one. So let's say I'm going to say this is a test confession. Okay, and post. There you go, just like that it got added. Once you press on view all, everything should be shown over here. Okay, for all the campuses. So that's what we'll be building in this specific video. If you find this interesting, please hit the like button and let's get started with the project right away. So now the first step is to create a fresh new Expo Manage project. So let's go do that. So I've just currently opened up my VS Code. It's currently blank, and over here I'm going to go into my build folder where all of my other projects are present. Okay, here I'm going to execute npx create expo app at latest. Let's press on enter. So it's asking what is your app named. I'm just going to say confessions for now. So here we have three options, and since this is a beginner level project, I'm just going to say for learning with Expo Go, that is STK54, and I'm going to press on enter. So as you can see, it says downloaded and extracted project files. It's currently installing all of the required dependencies, and within a couple of minutes we should be able to see our project structure. And once that happens, we're going to go into the folder structure and then look into all of the files that Expo has given us. So yeah, let's give it some time for the project to get initialized. Okay, I think it's almost done. As you can see, it says your project is ready. Okay, and to run your project, navigate to the directory and run one of the following npm commands. So we're gonna either run npm run Android or iOS based on the OS which you are using. Alright, let's go do that. I'm going to say file, open folder. Let's go into our build folder where we have our first project that's going to be confessions. Alright, so terminal and then new terminal. So towards the left hand side is all of the files and your folders that Expo gives us once when you initialize a main new Expo project. Alright, and as you can see, I'm currently within my project directory. Let's first of all try to run the application. So I'm using iOS and I'm just going to say npx expo start. Let's press on enter. Okay, as you can see, it says started Metro bundler, and you can also view the application on your own phone itself. You need to install the Expo Go app and then scan the QR code, and automatically the app should be downloaded onto your phone. Alright, that's a physical device. And after all, you're using any kind of emulator or simulator, that is in my case I'm using iOS simulator, I'm going to press on I. And after all, you're using the Android emulator, press on A. So I'm just going to press on I over here. So as you can see, it's opening up on iPhone 16. It's building the JavaScript bundle, and just like that, as you can see, whatever is there within your tabs code, that is being shown onto the screen. So basically we have the app router over here. Within that, the tabs, we have two tabs, your index as well as the explore. So this is the first tab, that's going to be index page, and the second one is going to be explore. So basically whatever is there within your index.tsx, the same thing is going to be shown over here. Okay, you can try to change values, it is going to get reflected just like this onto the output screen. So now the next step is we're going to write TypeScript code for the project, and we're going to use NativeWind, that is for styling part, that is Tailwind CSS. So head over to nativewind.dev, you can press on get started, and let's install all of the dependencies and then set this up. Okay, come back to Expo, copy that down, and we're going to install it using Expo itself. New terminal, enter. Okay, next I'm going to say setup Tailwind CSS. So the next step is I'm going to run npx Tailwind CSS init to create a Tailwind CSS file, I mean tailwind.config.js file. You can directly do that as well. So yeah, this step is done, and I'm going to say on the root level, new file tailwind.config.js, and then let's try to include all of your paths over here. Just like this, we need to modify that. We're going to do that in just a bit. Then yeah, the global.css, we're going to create it as well. Here I'm going to say global.css, save. Okay, that part is done. The next step is to add the Babel preset. So create a babel.config.js file and then add that specific code. So yeah, new file over here, I'm going to say babel.config.js. Let's rename this. Let's try to save the file. So next I'm going to say we're going to have a create metro.config.js file over here. So here I'm going to say metro.config.js. Okay, and yeah, let's try to add in the required configuration. That is going to be just like this. Okay, so this part is done. Next, let's try to import your CSS file onto the main layout file, that is app layout.tsx. That's going to happen over here. We can remove that React Native reanimated, not required for now. Here I'm going to say import your global.css. Let's try to save the file. Alright, so now I'm just going to make some modifications within the tailwind.config.js. Okay, that is with respect to our content and the app. So it's going to look something like this, and I've also added the theme that is going to be in this color as we saw in the demo part of the video. So yeah, you can take a look at this and make sure to change this with respect to our file and folder structure. So it's going to be within the app and within the components. Any file with all of these extensions should be able to apply Tailwind CSS. Okay, so pause for a bit and then you can try to look at this as well. So yeah, that's it. Let's try to first of all clear the application. Let's clear and start it off again. I'm just going to say npx expo start and then -- clear. So now we should be able to see the NativeWind getting applied. Let's give that a try. Okay, it got loaded. Come back to your index.tsx And let's say over here, I'm just going to have a text tag over here, import that from React Native, add some text, and then let's pass on the class name. I'm going to say text red of, let's say 400, and there you go. Just like that, as you can see, we are able to apply Tailwind CSS to our application. So this part is done. The first setup is complete. Now next, let's move on to the next step. That's going to be creating the backend part. Let's initialize some stuff that is with respect to the database schema. We're going to use Supabase for the backend as we discussed earlier. Okay, so yeah, let's first of all create a new project in Supabase. Make sure you already have an account. I'm going to say supabase.com. This is my organization. I'm just going to say new project. Here I'm going to say confessions app. I'm just going to use a strong password. All right, next I'm just going to say choose something that's nearby to my place, that's the region, and apart from that I'm going to leave everything as default, and I'm going to press on create new project. So yeah, let's wait for about 2 minutes for the project to set up, so all of these gets enabled. And once that's done, we're going to go into the SQL editor, and then we're going to first of all create all of the tables. The first one that we're going to do is your post table. Okay, so yeah, let's first of all give it some time for the project to load. So the status should show as healthy. As you can see, everything is still loading, your database, your Postgres, then auth, real time, and then storage as well. So let's wait for some more time. So yeah, it's enabled currently. Let's come back to your SQL editor. Okay, and let's start to create our table posts. Okay, I'm going to say create table. That's how we write it. The table name is going to be posts. Okay, we're going to have a unique ID for each of them. So here I'm going to say ID, your UUID, and I'm going to say primary key. I'm just going to say default generate random UUID. Next, we're going to have your content. That's going to be of text format. It's not going to be null. I'm going to say check. Your character length should be less than 280. So char underscore your length of your content should be less than or equals to 280. Next, I'm going to have it for your timestamps. So I'm going to say created and then timestamps, not null. It's going to be default.nav. Then for all of your reactions, we're going to have the details as well. So we're going to have 4 kinds of reaction. That is reaction heart. It's going to be of number int and then not null. Default set to 0. Similarly, your reaction laugh, int, not null. Default is again set to 0. Next, reaction shock, int, and then not null. Default is 0. Reaction underscore sad, again int, not null. Default is set to 0. That's it. You can pretty much try to execute this. I'm going to say run. Okay, so it says this query creates a table without enabling row level security. So I'm just going to press on run and enable RLS. So there you go, success, no rows returned. So we should have our post table getting created. So basically your RLS is required for the anon key access to work at all. Alright, and basically the app we are building uses fully open policies, there is no auth. Alright, but a real deployment should actually tighten this. For example, if at all you have some auth scoped rights or rate limiting. So yeah, that's what we're going to implement next. That's going to be your row level security. I'm going to say new query over here. I'm going to say alter table posts, and I'm going to say enable row level security. And here I'm going to create some policies as well. So I'm going to say create policy. I'm going to say anyone can read posts on your posts table for select using true. All right, next I'm going to say create policy anyone can also insert posts because there is no kind of login over here. Can insert posts on posts for insert with check, and we're going to say true. Next, I'm going to say finally create policy. Anyone can update the reactions on posts for update using true. That is going to be just like this. Let's try to execute the query. I'm going to say run. There you go. As you can see, this got executed. This is really good. So this part is done. So now the next step is, to add the category as well as your mode swings. Okay. As you can see over here, the category is confession. If I zoom in, all right. So yeah, we need to also add that to the column. So let's try to add it. I'm going to say new query. We can try to alter the posts. We could have actually added it that time itself. So I'm going to say alter table posts. We can try to add a new column to this. I'm just going to say add column, use that variable. It's going to be category. That's the column name. It's going to be of text, which is not null. Default is going to be set to this particular value, that is confession. Okay. Next, I'm going to say check category in confession, rant, funny, or advice. These are other 4 categories with respect to the categories table. That is going to be just like this. Let's try to run over here. Okay, so this part is done. Next, we can also try to add your campus scoping as well. So for that, again, I'm just going to say alter table posts, add column directly. Next, I'm going to say campus. So we have different types of campuses as we saw in the initial part. So this is with respect to that. Default is going to be your general. Okay. Next, I'm going to say create index idx underscore your posts underscore campus on posts of your campus. Okay. So yeah, this part is done. We can try to execute it. Let's try to run over here. There you go. Just like that. This is looking good. Alright, so now the next step is to create the replies table. As you can see, we have the replies over here. Okay, I don't think I've added that. Yeah, so once you press on this, we are gonna have like a thread for that specific confession. People can add their replies to this as well. So for that, we need a specific replies table. So let me go ahead and create that. I'm gonna say create table replies. It's again gonna have a unique UUID. Just try to copy it from the first one, and yeah, add it over here. Next, I'm going to say your post underscore ID. I'm going to say UUID and then not null. I'm going to say references posts of ID on delete cascade. Okay. Next, I'm going to say content. It's going to be of type text, which is not going to be null. I'm going to say check. Again, character underscore length over here also of your content should be less than or equals to 200 for the comment or the reply. Again, we're going to have your created at as well. So yeah, created at. It's going to be timestamp. We can just try to take it from the previous one. It's going to be the exact same thing. And we can try to add it over here. And again, we are going to also try to enable the row level security as we've done previously. So alter table, pass on the table name, that's going to be replies. I'm going to say enables or enable your row level security. Okay. Next here, I'm going to say create policy. Here I'm going to say anyone can read replies on replies for select using is going to be true. Similarly, I'm going to create one more policy, that is anyone can also insert replies on replies for insert with check of true. So there you go. This is the one. I'm just going to press on run over here. This should get executed. Alright, so now let's actually try to execute one more command over here. That is try to inserting a test post. That's how we do it. I'm just going to say insert into posts content. These are the values. That is, this is a test post, and then I'm going to say select star from posts. Run over here, and there you go. Just like that, we are getting all of the posts and categories confession, and campus is going to be general. Okay, because no campus is actually selected by default. It's going to go into the general campus. So yeah, this part is working properly fine. So now we can move on to the next bit of it. First of all, let's try to create the lib and then initialize the Supabase client and all of the required content. Come back over here, and I'm going to create a lib folder onto the root level. New file, supabase.ts, and install some dependencies. So yeah, come back over here. I'm going to say clear. I'm going to say yarn add Supabase.js as well as React Native URL polyfill. Let's press on enter. And yeah, while this is happening, let's also try to install your async storage from Expo. So yeah, copy this down. With Expo itself, we're going to install it. Yeah, so let's wait for this to complete. Actually, I think it's almost done. Yeah, this part is completed. Let's install the async storage. Enter. So now let's write down the code for this. On the top, I'm just going to import my React Native URL polyfill /auto. Let's initialize the Supabase URL. So const Supabase URL is going to be equal to some value. Similarly, const Supabase, your anon key is going to be equal to some value. Okay. Here I'm going to say export const Supabase is going to be equals to your create client. This is going to be coming from Supabase.js. Here I'm going to say import create client from at Supabase.js. Okay, next I'm going to say import your async storage as well. That is the package that we just installed from at React Native async storage /async storage. So this create client method is going to take in two things to initialize the Supabase client. That is your URL as well as your Supabase anon key. And here I'm just going to say auth. So I'm going to say storage, that is going to be your async storage, and auto refresh token, that's going to be true, and persist session is also going to be true as well, and your detect session in URL, that is going to be false. Okay, so yep, that's pretty much it. Let's try to save the file. So this part is done. So this is how we initialize the client. Now let's fill up the values, that is Supabase URL as well as the Supabase anon key. Come back to Chrome and come back to your project. You can come back to your project overview. So this is your URL basically. Copy this down, your project URL, and then you can enter it over here. Save. Okay. Next, I'm going to say come back to your project settings and come back to your API keys, and where you have legacy anon service role API keys, come over here and copy the anon key. That's going to be your Supabase anon key. Let's try to save. Okay, so this part is done. You can first of all try to check if at all the data is correctly coming from the backend. Let's verify that. So within the index.tsx file, I'm just going to write a use effect. Okay, simple function just to test if at all everything is coming correctly or not. So use effect over here, it's going to run on the initial mount. I'm just going to say Supabase, import that from lib.from, access the posts table and pass on the query. I'm just going to say select star all of the posts and dot then of your data and the error. Here I'm just going to say console.log I'm going to say, Supabase data. Here pass on the data, and if at all any error is there, just show that specific error over here. That's it. Let's try to save. Let's try to run the application. So npx expo start, enter. I'm going to say open on iOS, and there you go. Just like that, as you can see, we have one test confession that was created with the help of the SQL editor, and we're able to get that onto the front end part. Okay, so yeah, this part is working properly fine. So now first of all, let's try to create the types for the post that would be useful once when we initialize the store. And for the store, that's the global management, we're going to use the Zustand. Okay, so yeah, first of all, let's create a types folder. So let's say onto the root level, I'm just going to say types and then new file. It's going to be your post.ts. Here I'm going to say export interface post. Okay, your ID is going to be of string, content is going to be of string, and your category is going to be of type post category. I think this needs to be defined onto the top. Let me just do that. So I'm going to say export type your post category is going to be equals to your confession. Okay, and I'm going to say rant. If not this, it's going to be either funny or it's going to be either advice. Okay, so yeah, category part is done. Next I'm going to say campus. This is also going to be of type string, created at, again string, your reaction underscore heart, it's going to be number. Next, reaction underscore laugh is going to be number as well. Reaction underscore shock, number. Reaction underscore sad is also going to be number only. Next, finally, if at all there are any reports, because we can even report any kind of confession, as you can see, this one is reported over here. Okay, so yeah, for this I'm going to say reported count is going to be of type number as well. Here I'm going to just define the reaction type. It's going to be in this format. You can take a look at it. Okay, just like this, let's try to save the file. Now next, let's create the use post store. That's going to be the next step. Before that, let's try to let's install Zustand. I'm going to say yarn add Zustand over here, and I'm going to create a use post store.ts. So let's create a new folder, stores, and I'm going to say use post store.ts. So yeah, this is going to be a long file, and let's try to write all of the required things. First of all, on the top, I'm going to import all of the required things. You can take a look at it. So I've imported Supabase, your post category, as well as reaction type, and your async storage from React Native async storage, and then create method from your Zustand. Here I'm going to have some key. So reactions underscore key is going to be equals to user reactions v1. Next, const your reported key is going to be equals to user reported posts underscore v1. Next, const report underscore hide underscore threshold is going to be equals to 3. Next, const page underscore size is going to be equals to 20. Okay, now let's define all of the interface of the post state. It's going to be a lot of methods as well as initial state. I'll be adding that. So this is the post state over here. Here I'm going to say posts is going to be of type post. Next, your loading state is going to be of type boolean. loading more, if at all there are more confessions present, and if at all the user is scrolling, we need this state as well, boolean. Next, has more, boolean. Okay, as you can see over here, once the user has reached the end point, we need to show a message saying that you have reached the end. Okay, so these are required for all of these things. Next is your user reactions. That is going to be of type record of string comma your reaction type. Next, I'm going to say reported posts IDs. It's going to be in the form of array of strings. Okay. Next, my campus and then show all campuses. It's going to be string and boolean respectively. Next, you're going to have a state to actually set a specific campus. You can choose it and it's going to be set. It's going to take in a campus of type string and it's going to return a void. Next, toggle show all campus or all campuses. This is going to be again void. Next, load all of the user reactions. That is with respect to all of the emojis over here. This is with respect to that. So here again I'm going to say promise of void. Next, I'm going to say load reported posts. Here again I'm going to say promise of void. Next, I'm going to say your fetch posts, taking a function, and then here I'm going to say promise of void. Next, I'm going to say load more posts. Okay, here again I'm going to say promise of void. And finally, we're going to say for the add post as well as the toggle reaction, I'll be adding that as well. So next, I'm going to say it for the report post. I'm going to say report post. It's going to take in your post ID of type string. Here I'm going to say promise. Your error is going to be null, initially string or null. Okay, and this is for the upsert post. Again, this is going to take in your post of type post void. Next is for subscribe to Realtime. It's just going to take in a function and then it's going to have a void over here. That's it. Okay, so here let's first of all try to create our store. I'm going to say export const use post store is going to be equals to create method from Zustand. That's going to be of type post state. That's going to be this basically. Okay, so yeah, this in turn is going to have in your set as well as your get method. And here I'm going to say post is going to be within an array. Loading is going to be a false. Loading more is also going to be a false. Has more initially again false. Your user reactions is going to be an initial empty object, and all of your reported post IDs array of strings initially empty. My campus is going to be null, and show all campuses initially is going to be false. So yeah, set my campus, it's pretty simple. It's going to take in a campus, whatever campus it is, of type string. Okay, and we're going to set the value that is going to be of my campus as well as the campus itself. Okay, next I'm going to say toggle show all campuses, taking a method, and here I'm going to say set show all campuses is going to be not of get dot your show all campuses. Next is with respect to the load user reactions, we're going to make use of the async storage and the specific key which we have used. Okay, that's the reason we're using the keys, and we're going to get it over here. So we're going to say load user reactions is going to be equals to a async method, and first of all raw is going to be equals to, first of all, get the values. If the data is present, then try to set the data after parsing it. Okay, that's going to be your load user reactions. Next, similarly, load your reported posts as well, async method. Here instead of reactions key, it's going to be reported key. Okay, and here I'm going to say if your raw, then next over here I'm going to say set reported post IDs is going to be your JSON.parse of your raw. Alright, so this part is done. So now the next important function is to fetch the posts, and that is only going to be shown over here. Okay, so yeah, let's write that function. It's going to be fetch posts. It's going to be an async method, by the way. So here fetch posts always resets to the first page, and this is going to be called on the initial mount. And if at all any campus change happens, we're going to show that specific posts for that specific campus that is chosen. And if at all they choose general, we're going to choose all of the posts over there. Okay, so yeah, this part is done. Let's try to set over here. Initially my loading is going to be set to true. Has more is going to be also set to true. Let's get in two things, that is const my campus comma show all campuses from the get method. Let's try to initialize the query, set it up. I'm going to say Supabase dot from, I'm going to say posts dot select of star dot, I'm going to say order, it's going to be created at, here I'm going to say ascending, it's going to be true, dot limit of your page size. It's already defined onto the top, that is in our case, what is it, 20 per page. Okay, and yeah, check the condition over here, that is if your my campus and not of show all campuses, then query is going to be for that specific campus, query dot equate your campus and your my campus. Okay, now next let's try to get the data and then just try to set it over here, that is just like this. And finally I'm just going to say set the loading to be of false. Okay, so from the query you're going to get the data as well as the error. You check if at all not of error and data is present. Let's try to get all of the values. Okay, it should not be hidden, and only those posts which are not hidden should be shown. Once you have the visible data, set it into state, that is posts is going to be visible, has more is going to be equals to data.length is going to be equals to page.size. Okay, this part is done. Next we're going to write it for the load more posts, that is going to come over here. So I'm going to say load more posts. Think this is, after this we have a couple of more functions. Yeah, so for load more posts, here I'm going to say const posts comma your has more comma loading more, then your my campus comma show all campuses is going to be equals to your get. First of all, check the condition stating that if not of has more or loading more or your post dot length is equals to 0, then I'm going to say return. Okay, here I'm going to say set your loading more is going to be true. Next I'm going to say const cursor equals to posts of your posts dot length -1 dot created at. Okay, Now let's initialize the query. So I'm going to say const query is going to be equals to initialize Supabase dot from access the post table, select all of the posts from it, so select star, that's how we do it, and order by based on the created at attribute. Okay, your ascending is going to be false. Dot lt created at with respect to the cursor, and we're going to also pass on the limit. So yeah, over here dot limit of your page size, which is already defined onto the top, use that value. Okay, and over here I'm going to check if your my campus and as you have done similarly not of show all campuses, then set the query. That's it. Okay, apart from that, we're going to just have in your data as well as the error from the query, and I'm going to set the state. You can take a look at it. It's going to look something like this. Okay, so this part is done. So this is the method for your load more posts. Next, we can move on to the next part, that is going to be how to add a post so that it should be shown over here. All right, so here I'm going to say add a post. Correct. This is going to be again a async function. So to add a post, you need two things: your category that's chosen as well as the content that the user is going to write in. So first of all, take in these two things. Content is going to be of type string. Okay, and your category is going to be of type your post category. All right, so for the add post, let's start writing the code. Okay, so here initially I'm going to first of all get in the trimmed value. So I'm going to say const trimmed is going to be equals to content dot trim. So any value should be present to post. That's the reason we are trying to write it just like this. I think an arrow is missing over here. Okay, and furthermore, check the condition stating that if at all your trimmed dot length is equals to 0, then I'm going to say return error post cannot be empty. Okay, next here furthermore I'm going to say if at all your trimmed dot length is greater than 280, then here I'm going to say return error post is too long. Okay, and yeah, let's first of all try to get the my campus from the get method equals to get. Okay, next I'm going to say const error is going to be equals to await your Supabase dot from of posts dot make it to the insert method, pass on the content that is going to be trimmed, okay, and yeah, apart from that we are gonna have your campus. Okay, so from which campus it is we need to write in that. So campus over here I'm going to say it's going to be my campus, if not general. Okay, next I'm going to say return error it's going to be error dot message or null. That's it. So what does the add post do? It's basically going to take in the user's post content and category. They're basically going to trim the extra spaces. That's what you've done over here. And here we're going to first of all validate, all right, that the post isn't empty and doesn't exceed more than 280 characters. And next we're going to insert the post into posts table in the Supabase. Okay, assigning the user's campus, and general is going to be set if at all no campus is selected. So yeah, that's pretty much it with respect to the add post. Now let's move on to the next step. Okay, that's going to be toggle reaction. All right, so once you toggle on, let's say the heart over here is going to be 1, and once you untoggle heart, it's going to become 0, and you can only toggle any of the 1 reaction out of the 4 reactions over here. Correct? That's how it's going to work. So Yeah, so toggle reaction, it's going to check whether the user has already reacted to the post. It adds, removes, or switches the reaction while immediately updating the UI, and it saves the user's reaction locally using async storage, so it persists across your app launches. First of all, let's try to write the code for this. Toggle reaction of async post ID of string. Reaction is going to be reaction type. Next, I'm going to say const post is going to be equals to get dot posts dot find. So first of all, we're going to find with the help of ID. So the p dot ID should be equals to your post ID. Okay. Next, if not of that specific post, we can try to return. And I'm going to check if at all there is any kind of existing reaction already added to that specific post. I'm going to say get dot your user reactions of your post ID. Okay, I'm going to say const updates is going to be equals to partial of record and a reaction type comma number equals to a empty object over here. That is just like this. I've also added the new user reactions, and I'm going to check if at all your existing reaction is equals to your reaction. Then your updates of your reaction is going to be equals to your math dot max of post of reaction -1, 0. And I'm going to delete that specific one. So I'm going to say delete of your new user reactions of that specific post ID. Okay, else if I'm going to check if at all existing reaction is present already, then here I'm going to say your updates of reaction is going to be your post reaction +1. So it's going to increase by 1. Okay. And before this, we are going to say again updates of existing reaction is going to be equals to again the same formula that we applied above. That is just like this. Next, I'm going to say your new user reactions of your post ID is going to be equals to your reaction. And finally over here, I'm going to say else your updates of reaction is going to be post of reaction +1 and new user reactions of post ID equals to your reaction. And finally, I'm just going to set the posts as well as I'm going to set it into storage as well. That's going to be just like this. All right. So this part is done. So once after this is done, I'm going to first of all also update in the backend as well. I'm going to say const error is going to be equals to await Supabase dot from of posts dot update of updates dot equals to ID. It should match your post ID. Okay, and if at all there is any error over here we're updating, I'm going to set your error, by the way. That is going to say posts get dot your posts dot map. For every value, I'm just going to say your p dot id should be equals to your post id, else it's going to be post or the value p itself. And also your user reactions is going to be get dot your user reactions. Next, we can write for the report post, okay, as well as your upsert post, and then subscribe to Realtime. Okay, I'm going to write these two later. That is for your report post as well as upsert post. I'm going to be writing it for the subscribe to Realtime. So the way this is going to work is it's going to create a Supabase Realtime channel to listen for changes in the posts table. Okay, so it listens for both your insert and updating of any posts, that is the database events, and whenever any new or updated post is received, it calls the upsert post to keep the UI synchronized. Alright, and it's going to return a cleanup function that unsubscribes from the real-time channel when it is not required. We're going to write the exact same thing. I'm going to say subscribe to real-time. Okay, next I'm going to say const channel equals to Supabase dot use the channel over here. I'm going to say posts real-time dot on. Yeah, I'm going to choose the Postgres changes. This in turn is going to choose in the event, that is going to be insert event. Schema is going to be public over here, and table is going to be posts. Okay, next I'm going to pass on the payload over here, and here I'm going to say get dot, we have the upsert post method of your payload dot new as your post. Next, here we're going to say dot on, again with respect to Postgres changes. Here the next one is going to be your update method, okay, as we discussed earlier. So here I'm going to say event is going to be update over here. Again, your schema is going to be public, and table is going to be posts. Okay, here again similarly taking the payload. Here I'm just going to say get dot your upsert post. I'm going to say payload dot new as your post. Okay, and here we're going to say dot subscribe. So yeah, that's the entire method for your subscribe to real-time events, and we can do the cleanup over here onto the bottommost part. So when it's no longer needed, it's going to get cleaned up over here. Okay, so there you go. I've just added in everything, that is these two methods would be written later, and this is the last one that we wrote, that is subscribe to real time. Okay, you can take a look at it from the topmost, but if you've missed something. All right, so yes, let's try to save the file. Now let's actually come back to the index.tsx, and then let's start to make the changes so it looks something like this over here. Okay, so come back to index.tsx, the main home screen part over here. So here on the top I'm going to have in my states. Okay, so const composer visible comma set composer visible is going to be equals to use state initially set it to be of false. Next I need access to the posts, that's going to be coming from the use post store. So use post store, take in the value, and it's going to be s dot your posts. Okay, next I'm going to say your const loading is going to be equals to, again, use post store, take in a value, and it's going to be s dot loading. I think extra bracket got added over here. Next I'm going to say fetch posts and then my campus. I'll be adding these as well over here. You can take a look at it. Apart from that, we're going to have it for the show all campuses is going to be equals to your use post store, take in a value, and it's going to be s dot my campus. Sorry, not this one, it should be s dot show all campus. All right, next const set my campus is going to be equals to your use post store, and it's going to be s dot set my campus. I'm going to say next one, const toggle show all campuses equals to your use post store. Here I'm going to say s dot toggle show all campuses. Next I'm going to get it for the loading more state. So const loading more is going to be equals to use post store, taking a S and I'm going to say S dot your loading more. Next I'm going to say const has more equals to your use post store. Here I'm going to say S dot your has more. Now first of all, over here, instead of this use effect, I'm going to add in one more use effect. So I'm going to say use effect. So this is going to be dependent upon my campus. Okay. So if at all not of my campus, then directly try to return from the function because no campus is selected at the initial point. Next, I'm going to call the fetch posts method. Okay. And here I'm going to say const unsubscribe equals to your use post store. I'm going to say dot get state dot subscribe to Realtime, and I'm also going to do the cleanup over here. That is going to be just like this, unsubscribe. That's it. Let's try to save the file. Okay, I think there is some kind of issue, got unexpected undefined. Let's try to look into this. Let's try to first of all reload the app. And next I'm going to add in one more use effect over here. I'm going to say use effect. And this is going to be dependent upon your show all campuses. All right. And if your my campus value is present, it is chosen, then go ahead and then call the fetch post over here. So save, cut the terminal. I'm going to say npx expo start -- clear. So let's try to open it up again. Let's see what exactly happens. Yeah, no issues now. Next over here, I'm going to write in one more use effect such that if at all no campus is selected, which is obviously going to be true at the initial state. So if at all that's the case, that means if at all no campus is selected, we need to navigate to the campus select page where the user is going to select the campus and then set it into state. Okay, so I'm going to say use effect. This is going to run on the initial mount. It's going to be a async method. Then const campus equals to await get selected campus. So this is going to be coming from your campus storage. I'll be defining that in just a bit. And if not of campus, we can try to replace the state, that is a navigation. Router.replace, it's going to be to / your campus and then select. And we can try to return. If at all we do have the data, then set that specific state, that is set my campus of campus. And here I'm going to say await your use post store dot your get state dot your load user reactions. Okay, next I'm going to say await your use post store dot get state dot also try to load the reported posts. That is not yet written. We are going to write that in just a bit. Let's try to save the file. Okay, now let's first of all write the code for the campus select. It's going to be pretty simple. And also let's also try to write the function, that is get selected campus, with the help of your campus storage over here. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to come back to my lib. Okay, this part, and then new file. I'm going to say campus storage.ts file. Okay, here first of all on the top I'm going to say import your async storage from React Native async storage. Let's create a campus key that we're going to use for the storage. So campus underscore key is going to be equals to selected underscore campus and then v1. Okay, next I'm going to say export async function. I'm going to say get selected campus. So whichever is selected, we're going to get that. All right, it's going to be of type promise of string or initially null. Here I'm going to say return your async storage dot make use of the get item method and pass on the key. That is going to be a campus key. Next we have the set selected campus. Okay, here I'm going to say export your async function. That is going to be set selected campus. This in turn is going to take in campus of string. Okay, this is going to be again promise void, and here I'm going to say await your async storage dot set item of your campus key comma your campus. Okay, let's try to save the file, and you can try to import this as well. So what does these two functions do? As you can see, it is self-understanding. The first function that gets select campus, it's going to basically retrieve the previously selected campus from the async storage with the help of the get item method. Okay, and it's going to return the campus name if it exists, otherwise it returns null over here. Okay, next is pretty simple. Again, we have the set selected campus. It saves the selected campus to async storage with the help of the set item method. So the way the set item method works is it's gonna set with the help of the key and the value. So the key is this thing that is campus key, and value is your campus that was chosen, right? And stores the value using the key selected campus v1, and it also overrides any previously stored campus with the new one. Okay, that's what the second function is going to do. Now let's go and then style the next screen. That's going to be the campus select screen. So onto the app level, I'm going to say your campus select.ts. Okay, let's start writing the code for this. I'm going to say export default function campus select screen. All right, first of all, I'm going to choose the mode equals to your use local search params. So this mode is going to be of type string, by the way. Okay, and I'm going to say const is changing equals to, if at all your mode is going to be equals to change. All right, so here we can go into the campus mode again. If at all they've already chosen a campus and they want to again choose some other college, they can press on all campuses and they can choose a new campus. All right, so that's how it's going to work, and I'm going to have in a state as well. So next I'm going to say const custom campus comma set custom campus equals to your use state, and initially it's going to be a empty string. Okay, next I'm going to say const set my campus. It's going to be coming from the use post store. So use post store, initially taking the value, and I'm going to say s dot your use, not this one, s dot set my campus, my bad. Okay, so yeah, we can try to implement the design. So return a safe area view imported from your context. Okay, I think I made the file name wrong. Okay, so this should be tsx, my bad. So app.tsx. Yeah, I think now it should work properly fine. Okay, so import safe area view from the context file. Let's try to reload the application. And we also need to include it within the main file, that is the underscore layout. So come back and include that particular stack over here, just like this. Okay, reload. Okay, my bad. So I've written reload instead of replace. So yeah, replace, that was a bug. Let's try to again open up the application. And we can remove everything over here as well from the main index file, and you can try to get in the safe area view over here. Safe. All right, so first of all over here I'm going to say class name. I'm going to give it a flex of 1, bg base of 950. First of all, I'm going to check the campus value, what exactly it's coming from the Zustand. So console.log data campus, sorry, my campus. Okay, there you go. Data is null. As you can see, it's coming in the log, but we should actually try to go to the campus select. Let's see why exactly it's not happening. Console.log data here and then campus. Okay, it's not even running. Okay, because I'm not even calling the function. Yeah, so this basically over here is iffy. It's not a normal function, so it's called immediately invoked function. So we have to call it just like this. Okay, the function is not called, so now we should be able to automatically navigate, and boom, just like that we are coming into the campus select screen. Okay, so yeah, we can start designing this. All right, and I'm gonna add in all of the campuses over here. Within my constants file, I'm gonna create a new file that's going to be called as campuses.ts. okay, so we can try to add it over here just like this. Save the file. You can add in any of the college you want to add it over here. Okay, so for the safe area view, initially I'm going to say class name. I'm going to give it a flex of 1, bg base of 950, px of 5, and then pt is going to be of 6. Save. As you can see, that's looking good. And if at all here is changing is true, and I'm gonna go and then show a back button that's gonna have a text, by the way, just like this. Import text from React Native. So for the pressable, I'm gonna say on press, taking a function, and I'm gonna say router.back. Also pass on the design for this. It's gonna have MB of 4 and then self of start. Next, if at all is changing is going to be true, it's going to be switch campus, else it's going to be pick your campus. All right, next I'm going to have in a text which is going to say see what's happening at your college. Okay, for the text over here, I'm going to say text is going to be SM, that's the style, and I'm going to say text of mist of 400, MB is going to be 6. There you go, just like that, it's working properly fine. Now with the help of the flat list, I'm going to show the design for the campuses. So import flat list. So this expects two things, that is your data, that's going to be campuses imported from the constants, your key extractor, I'm going to say item, and over here I'm going to say item itself, your render item method, I'm going to say item over here. Next, I'm going to have in your pressable, pass on the text, and then just try to render the item. First of all, let's try to give the design for this. BG base of 800, rounded is going to be 2XL, PX is going to be 4, and PY is going to be 3, MB of 2, and if it's active, I'm going to say opacity is gonna be 70 over here. Save. Just like that, as you can see, we have the all list of colleges or campuses. Here for the text, let's pass on the design. Text mist of 100. Text is going to be of base, and that's pretty much it. It's looking pretty neat. And for the pressable, I'm going to say on press. Here I'm going to say your handle select of item. Okay, I'm going to say const handle select is going to be equals to async function. Pass on the campus, that's going to be of string over here. And I'm going to say await your set selected campus of campus from the so it's going to be coming from the lib that is set selected campus. That's the function that we wrote just a couple of minutes back. Next I'm going to say set your my campus to be of campus, and if your is changing is true, then you're going to say router.back. Else I'm just going to say router.replace to be of tabs. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So this part is done. I'm also going to render the list footer component over here. Save the file. I'm going to say list footer component equals to having a view, import view from React Native, and having a text as well. I'm going to say if at all your college is not listed, type your own. We can add also your own custom college, whatever you want to add. So yeah, class name for this, text sm, text mist of let's say 400, MB is going to be 2. Here having a view. Next I'm going to say text input, value is going to be your custom campus, on change text is going to be set custom campus, your placeholder is going to be your college name. Okay, placeholder text color is going to be 8BB or 8B8 and then B99. Alright, for the outermost view, I'm going to pass on the class name empty of 3. For this one, class name is going to be flex of row, and then it's going to have a gap of 2. And this also is going to have a class name. I'll be adding it over here. You can take a look at it. There you go, not listed. Type your own college. And below the view, we're going to have a pressable over here. Below your text input, it's going to have a text which is going to say go. For the pressable, I'm initially going to say class name. Alright, px of 5, rounded is going to be full, item center, justify center, and if at all your campus custom campus dot trim, then it's going to be bg ember of let's say 500, else bg base of 700. Okay, so this part is done. And for the text, I'm going to say class name, font of semi bold. Next, if at all your custom campus dot trim question mark, it's gonna be text of white. Next I'm gonna say text mist of 400. Save the file. I'm gonna say over here just test college go. Okay, on press is not given, that's the reason it's not working. I'll be adding it for the pressable over here. Just like this, save. It's going to be custom campus.trim. If at all some value is present, then only handle select of custom campus.trim, and then go. Okay, as you can see, data test college is selected as of now. So yeah, we can make it work like that. You can also change the campus, it's going to work that way as well. So now we're going to show only those campuses with respect to the test college confession wall. And if at all the user chooses any other campus, whatever confessions for that specific wall have been added, you can show that one over there. Let's have just again reloaded the app, and as you can see, your data is test college because that's what we have selected previously, and now we're not able to navigate to the next screen, that's the campus screen. Okay, so here let's start designing the home screen. That's going to be the next step, by the way. Okay, on to the top, let's come back to your index.tsx. Yeah, all of the state is already initialized and even the use effects have been added. Let's start designing your safe area view over here. Having a view, one more view, import your view from React Native, having a text as well, import text from React Native as well, and here we are going to say the wall. So for this I'm going to say class name, it's going to be text to Excel, and font is going to be bold, text mist of 100, and for this view I'm going to say class name, it's going to be px of 4, some internal spacing, pt is going to be of 2, flex of row, item center, and then justify is going to be between. Save the file. There you go, just like that, you're able to see that onto the screen. Next is for your campuses. I'm going to have a pressable, by the way. So below your text itself, pressable, having a text. Here we're going to show in that icon symbol, and if it all show all campuses true, then it's going to be all campuses, else it's going to be my campus. Save. Okay, let's first of all design this. Class name, text of sm, text ember of 400, and then underline. There you go, your test college is selected, that's the reason it's being shown just like that. Okay, this is good. And on press we're going to say toggle show all campuses. So yeah, directly I'm going to say on press toggle show all campus. Yeah, it should take it from this part over here. So let's try to save the file, and towards the right hand side we're going to have a pressable within a text, and here we're going to say if at all show all campuses is true, then it's going to be my campus, and I'm going to say view all. Here I'm going to say class name, text of xs, font is going to be medium, text ember of 400. Okay, save. As you can see, that's looking good. And for your pressable, on press, okay, I think I've made a mistake. This should be actually toggle campus. Okay, and for this it's going to be different. I'm going to say on press over here, taking a function, and here we're going to say router dot push, it's going to be / campus select, and here I'm going to change the mode, is going to be equals to change. Save the file. As you can see, we're able to change it. Let's say I'm going to choose PES University. Okay, so there is some issue with respect to this. Let's look into this. Let's try to reload. Yeah, so it is getting changed. So while coming back, there is some issue. Let's fix that up in just a bit. And yeah, posts is already set up over here. As you can see, it is getting it from the store. Let's try to render that over here. So yeah, below your view, I am going to have a flat list imported from React Native. This is going to expect two things: your data, that's going to be posts, and your key extractor, taking the item. Here I'm going to say item.id, and class name I'm just going to say flex of 1. Apart from that, I'm going to say container style. This is going to have a padding top of let's say 12, and some padding bottom value as well of 80, Apart from that, I'm gonna pass on my render item. That's gonna be the next step. So not like this, render item. This in turn is gonna take in basically the item, restructure it, and over here I'm gonna show postcard component. We need to design that. So I'm gonna say post card. Post is gonna be equals to your item. Okay, that's it. Now let's design your postcard component. That is basically going to look something like this, as you can see. Okay, so let's come back to components and let's create a postcard.tx. Sorry, tsx postcard.tsx. All right, and here on the top I'm going to define my interface props as well as all of my reactions. I'm going to add it over here. You can take a look at it. Import reaction types and post also from the types. It's already defined. Here I'm going to say export function. I'm going to say postcard. This is going to have your post of type props. It's already defined. Okay, and yeah, here first of all we're going to have a bunch of methods, that is toggle reaction, your user reaction, the report post, already reported, and category meta. All right, so let's take in all of these values. So const toggle reaction equals to use post store. I'm going to say s dot your toggle reaction. Next, const user reaction is going to be equals to use post store. I'm going to say s dot your user reactions of that specific post dot id. All right, because we need the user reactions for that specific post itself. So next, report post is going to be equals to use post store, taking a value, and I'm going to say s dot your report post. Next is your already reported. I'm going to add it. You can take a look at it. Next one is for the category price. So I'm going to say const category equals to, I'm going to say get category meta. So this is going to be coming from one more folder. That's going to be the lib folder itself. We're going to define that later, not required for now. We can try to return a pressable over here. Okay, save the file and let's try to include the postcard. So for the pressable, there is no style as such. Here I'm going to give a view. Within this, one more view. Make sure to import view from React Native. Okay, here we're going to have the text that's going to show the category meta. Okay, let's first of all define that because it's required over here. So let's come back to the constants and we're going to have a category.ts. I'll be adding the code for that. You can take a look at it. So constants and then new file, your categories .ts. Okay, so we're going to have a bunch of categories and different color as well as the label for that. We have confession, we have rant, we have funny, and then we have advice. So it's going to be get category meta. So whichever is chosen, it's going to choose that value. If it's not chosen, you're going to get the confession as the default one. Okay, save, import text. Okay, and let's come back to your campus card. Sorry, postcard, not campus card. The first one is to show the category meta.label. That is your this category. It's either confession or a rant or something else, correct? So for that, I'm going to say category meta. We need to define this onto the top. Okay, that's going to be over here. So yeah, let's import your get category meta from the constants. So this is going to be your category meta dot your label. Okay, so yeah, I'm also going to convert it into to uppercase. All right, for your inner view, I'm going to pass on the design. So yeah, class name for this is going to be bg base. Let's write it properly. So bg base of, let's say, 800. Rounded is going to be 2xl, some internal spacing padding of 4, MB of 3, border, and then border base of 700. And for this particular inner view, I'm going to say, class name, flex of row, item center, justify between, and then MV of 2. So for now the design won't come up because there are no confessions added for any college. So the ideal step is to design the plus button, and once you press on the plus button, we can show some kind of model as you saw in the demo part of the video. Okay, and once they press on that, we can try to initialize the model, and once they enter some text and post it, it should be shown up over here. So yeah, let's come back over here, index.tsx, and let's complete designing your flat list. Apart from the render item, we're going to have initial number to render, it's going to be 10, and maximum to render per batch 10. This for the optimization part. And I'm going to say window size is equals to 5, and remove clipped subviews is going to be true. Apart from that, on end reached is going to be load more posts. This needs to be defined. Okay, next I'm going to say on end reached threshold is going to be equals to 0.5, and your list footer component, this also is required. If at all loading more is true. Okay, we're going to show some design. If else not of has more, and your post dot length is greater than 0, then here we're going to say you have reached the end, else it's going to be null. So first of all, if at all loading more is true, we're going to show activity indicator. That's better. Alright, this is going to have a class name my of 4, and color is going to be this one, that is 8b, and then 99. Okay, here I'm going to have a text which is going to say you have reached the end. Let's try to save the file. And list empty component, I'm just going to say no confessions yet, and then be the first one. There you go, it's working fine. As of now, for the PES University, there is no confession, and that's the reason it's showing no confessions yet, be the first. So yeah, next I'm going to initialize a new component that's going to be a compose fab component. So I'm going to say compose fab. Here it's going to take in an on press. Okay, so this is basically for the button design. Here I'm going to say set composer visible to be of true. Let's go and then define this. That is your compose fab. It's again going to go into the components folder itself. Yeah, here I'm going to say compose fab dot tsx. Here I'm going to say interface props. Okay, on press for this. It's going to be void. Here I'm going to say export function compose fab, receive the props. We just gave one thing, that's going to be on press of props. Okay, let's try to return. It's going to be a pressable because it's going to have a plus button that is going to be just like this. Okay, so yeah, within this I'm going to have a text with a plus button. You can take a look at it. I'm also going to add the styles for the text. That's just like this. And for the pressable, I'm going to say class name, it's going to have absolute positioning. Bottom is going to be of 6. Okay, right is going to be of 6 as well. Width of 14, height of 14, rounded is going to be of full, bg ember of 500, items of center, justify center, and if it is active, I'm just going to say bg ember is going to be 600. Okay, let's give the on press over here. So on press is going to be equals to on press. Save the file. Let's import this component. You should be able to see it onto the screen, and there you go. Just like that, is working fine. And I'm also going to give some shadow designs with respect to the internal styling. You can take a look at it. Save. Okay, I've not taken it properly. Paste it again, save. Yeah, this is working fine. The final step is to design your composer. That's going to be your post composer. Here I'm going to say post composer. It's going to take in your visible prop. That is going to be equals to composer visible, and on close here I'm just going to say set composer visible to be a false. Okay, let's define the post composer function or the component. So again, I'm going to come back to the components, new file, post composer.tsx. Here I'm going to say interface props visible is going to be boolean. On close I am just going to say void over here. Here let's try to say export default your post composer. I'm going to say visible and take in the on close as well of props that's defined above. Okay, and over here I'm going to first of all initialize some state. So const text comma set text is going to be equals to use state initially empty. So this is the text which we're going to use to write the confession. Okay, next is for the category. So const category comma set category equals to use state. It's going to be of type post category, imported from your posts, and initially by default it's going to set to confession. Next, const submitting comma set submitting equals to use state of false. Next I'm going to say const error message comma set error message equals to use state of string or null of null over here. Next I'm going to get the add post from the store. It's already defined, so use post store. It's going to be s dot your add post. Next I'm going to say const fetch post equals to your use post store. Here I'm going to say s dot your fetch posts. All right, next, yeah, let's get into the return block of the design. I'm going to say model imported from React Native. Pass on the properties. Visible is going to be visible. If it's true, it's going to open up. If it's false, it's not going to open up. Animation type, I'm going to say slide. It's going to be transparent, and on request close I'm going to say on close over here. Right, it's coming from the props. Next, let's have in a view, import view from React Native. Pass on the class name. I'm going to say flex of 1. Justify is going to be end and bg black by 60. Here I'm going to have a keyboard avoiding view imported from React Native, and this is going to expect a behavior. I'm going to add it. So yeah, I'm going to add it over here. Import platform from your React Native. Save the file. Let's try to import it. Save this as well. Now let's just show some random design. Okay, having a view over here. Within this we're going to have a view as well as a text. You should be able to see that. I'll be adding it. Import text from React Native, and I'm going to pass on the design for this specific view. So yeah, class name, it's going to be bg base of 900, rounded top of 3xl, some internal spacing padding of 5, pb of 8, border of t, border base of 700. Save the file. Let's give this a try. I'm going to press on this, and boom, just like that, it is working properly fine. This was set to true, and over here, since this variable is true, we're able to see the model design showing up onto the screen. Next, below the text, I'm going to map over my categories. So I'm going to say view. Next, categories dot map for every cat over here. I'm going to first of all check if it is selected equals to category should be equals to your cat.value. Next, let's try to return it. I'm gonna have a pressable, within that a text field that's gonna show the label over here. Okay, class name for this, text of XS, font is gonna be medium. For your pressable, first of all pass on the key cat.value on press, take in a function, and over here I'm going to say set your category to be of your cat.value. Pass on your class name over here. I'm going to say px is going to be equals to 3, py of 1.5, and rounded is going to be equals to full, and a border as well. Okay, save. As you can see, we're able to see that onto the screen, which is good. Next, over here I'm also going to give it some internal styling. You can take a look at it. Save. So yeah, for the view I'm going to pass on the style. It's going to be in a row fashion. So class name, flex of row, gap is going to be of 2, MB of 3. There you go. That's looking pretty good. And some internal styling for the text field as well, just like this. As you can see, that's looking pretty neat. You can select as well each of the things, and it is automatically changing the colors. So this part is done. Next, you're gonna have a text input, by the way. Text input from React Native, value equals to text, on change text. Okay, this is, I'm just gonna say directly set text. Next, I'm gonna say placeholder is gonna be share something anonymously, then dot. I'm gonna say it should be multi-line. Autofocus is gonna be true. Maximum length is gonna be 280 characters, and pass on the design for this. It's gonna be text of base, text mist of 100. I'm going to say min height of, let's say, 100 pixels, BG base of 800, rounded is going to be 2XL, some internal spacing padding of 3. Okay, there you go. Just like that, it's looking pretty neat. So I forgot to give the placeholder text color. You can add it just like this and save. Okay, next, if at all there is any error message, I'm going to show that. So error message, and go on and then show a text. That's going to be error message. Pass on the class name for this, text of XS, and then text red is going to be 400, empty is going to be of 2. This part is done. Next, I'm going to have in a view, and I'm just going to show how much of the characters have been entered with the help of this one. As you can see, 0 of 280. For the view, I'm going to say class name, it's going to be flex of a row, item center, it's going to be justify of between, and empty of 3. Below the text, I'm going to have in one more piece of view. Here we're going to have a pressable, by the way. Within that, one more piece of text. It's going to say cancel, and on press, I'm going to say on close over here. That's it. So class name for the pressable, px of 4, py of 2, rounded is going to be full, bg base of 800, and active, I'm going to say opacity is going to be 70. So for the cancel over here, I'm going to say class name, text of SM, font of semi-bold, text mist of 300. Save the file. There you go. It's looking pretty good, and it's also cancelling as well. That means the model is correctly closing. So yeah, this part is done. And for this view, I'm going to pass on the styling. That is just like this. Below the view, I'm going to have a pressable. Below the pressable, we're going to have one more piece of pressable. If at all your submitting is true, then I'm going to say it's posting to the wall. else I'm just going to say post over here. Okay, so for this I'm going to pass on the design. So class name, I'm going to say text of SM, font of semi bold, and here if at all submitting is true, or text dot trim dot length is equals to 0. Okay, then question mark, it's gonna be text mist of 400, else it's gonna be text of white. That's gonna be just like this. Save the file. As you can see, post, it's coming properly fine. For this I'm gonna say on press is gonna be equals to your handle submit. We're gonna define that as well. Next I'm gonna say over here disabled is gonna be if at all your submitting is true, or your text dot trim dot length is equals to 0. Next, let's pass on the class name. I'm going to say px of 4, py of 2, rounded is going to be full, and if at all your submitting is true, or similar condition if at all the text dot trim dot length is equals to 0, question mark, it's going to be bg base of 700, else it's going to be bg emerald, not emerald, ember of 500, and active I'm going to say bg ember of 600. Okay, let's try to define the handle submit function onto the top. That's the next step. So const handle submit is going to be equals to a async function. So I'm going to say set submitting is going to be of true, set error message is going to be of null. So const error is going to be equals to await. Add post is going to take in two things, the text to post as well as the category whichever is chosen. I'm going to say set submitting is going to be false over here after it's done. If at all any error, set the error message so it's going to be shown onto the screen, and then try to return. Next step, we're going to set the text to be of empty string again, set category to be of again confession, await the fetch posts so that the latest posts are fetched and shown onto the screen, and then on close, so the model is going to be closed. Okay, as you can see it's currently disabled. As soon as I enter a text, it's going to be showing enabled, that is in orange color. Okay, cancel, and there you go, we're back to the previous step. So we can try to test this out. Let's enter a random confession for a college for this particular campus over here. Alright, so now over here within the input box I'm just gonna enter a random piece of text. Okay, so for some reason I'm not able to paste it. Yeah, so I think we have to type it out. I think the paste option for some reason is missing. Autofill is there, and then alright, let's actually type it out itself. I'm just gonna say if you, okay, I think your contact is selected over here. Let's come back. In first year and never returned it. I have moved on, but I haven't forgotten. Just some random text from AI. You can just add in a random confession post, and boom, just like that. As you can see, you're able to see that confession over here. So since our component is not yet completed, you're able to see that being shown onto the screen. Okay, that is for the postcard. As you can see, once I complete designing this, automatically everything should work properly fine. So yeah, let's come back to your postcard and then let's start designing this. Let's make it look properly fine. So for this, we have already given it. It's being shown correctly. Fine. Next is for your. It's also going to have a style that is this specific view, some internal styling. As you can see, that is looking good. Below this, we're going to have a pressable. Here we're going to have a text, and if already reported as true, then we're going to show some value, else it's going to say report. I'll be adding the icons as well. You can take a look at it. As you can see, it is not yet reported, so it is going to be showing report over here. Okay, so class name text of XS, and then text missed is going to be a 400. Save. There you go. That's looking good. And for the pressable, I'm also going to say hit slop, that's going to be 8. I think there is one more inner view missing. I'll just be adding that. You can take a look at it. So it's going to look something like this. Okay, save, and there you go. Just like that, we are into the correct design. You can take a look at the design I've added within a extra view. So next, I'm going to show the content, whatever the user has posted. So having a text field, and it is going to be your post dot your content. Okay, here I'm going to say class name. It's going to be text of base. Next, text missed of 100. Leading is going to be 6. MB is going to be 3. Save the file. There you go. Just like that, we're able to show that onto the screen, which is looking good. Okay, next, having a view, within that a text as well. Here I'm going to say time ago. So this needs to be defined above. I'll be defining that. So time ago of your post dot created at. Okay, for this also we're gonna have the class name being given. So let's say class name text of XS, and then text missed of 400. Yeah, let's define the time ago. So based on your seconds, minutes, and hours, we're gonna show just now, then or few minutes ago or hours ago. Okay, something like that. So right above this, I'm going to say function time ago of your date string. That's going to be of type string. First of all, I'm going to calculate my seconds. That is going to be equals to math.floor of your date.nav minus your new date of date string dot get time divided by 1000. Okay, next here I'm going to check if at all your seconds is less than 60. I'm going to say return just now. Next, for minutes, it's going to be equals to seconds by 60. That's how you calculate your minutes. So math.floor of your seconds by 60, and if at all your minutes is less than 60 after the post has been done, then I'm going to say return minutes ago. So whatever minutes ago, that needs to be shown. I'm going to say $minutes and then ago. Next, similarly for hours, so hours, how we calculated, divided by 60 of the minutes. So const hours is going to be equals to, again, math.floor of your minutes by 60. Here furthermore, check the condition. If at all your hours is less than or equals to 24 or less than 24, I'm going to say return $hours ago, else it is going to be days ago. I'll be adding that. You can take a look at it. So it's going to be just like this. Let's try to save the file As you can see, this was posted 5 minutes ago, so it's being shown correctly fine. So yeah, this step is done. We can move on to the next piece of design. That is going to be to map over all of the reactions and then show it over here towards the right hand side. So here, having a view for that, here I'm going to say reactions dot map for every type, and then your emoji. First of all, I'm going to check the count for each one. So it's going to be simple post of type. Next, const is mine, that is the reaction which you have given. If at all, the user reaction should be equals to the type. Okay, here I'm going to say return a pressable. The first one is going to show the emoji. Save the file, and boom, just like that. As you can see, all of the 4 emojis are being shown. Let's pass on the key for this. It's going to be type itself, and below this we're going to show the count also. So text, for everything by default it should be 0. There you go, 0 0 0 0. Okay, it's not being shown, but yeah, it's very light. Let's pass on the class name for this. Here I'm going to say text of XS, font is going to be medium, and if at all is mine is true, then here I'm going to say text ember of 400, else I'm going to say text mist of 400. For emoji, I'm going to say class name, text is going to be of SM, MR is going to be of 1. Save the file. There you go, it's looking good. For the outermost view, I'm going to say it's going to be in a row fashion, flex of row, gap is going to be 1.5. There you go, that's looking fine. For the outermost view, class name again, flex of row, and then I'm going to say item center as well, and justify is going to be between. Just like that, it's looking properly cool. So for this inner pressable, we need to provide in the design. So yeah, let's give that over here. I'm going to say class name, make use of backticks. I'm going to say flex of row, items is going to be center. I'm going to say rounded as full because we need to show it in this particular design over here. Okay, next I'm going to say px is going to be of 2.5 and py is going to be of 1. Okay, and active, I'm just going to say opacity is going to be 70. This is the one, and I'm going to check if at all is mine is true, then the bg is going to be different, bg ember of 500, and it's also gonna have a border, by the way. So I'm gonna say border over here, and border ember of 500, else it is just gonna be bg base of 700. Let's try to save. There you go, just like that. It's looking really nice. Now let's first of all define the handle react over here. Okay, on to the top, I'm gonna say const handle react equals to, it's gonna have in a type that is gonna be of type reaction type. Okay, here I'm gonna say haptics. So this needs to be installed from your Expo haptics, so you get that feel once you press on any kind of emoji over here. I'm just gonna say so come back to Expo haptics over here, and from Expo itself we're gonna install it. Copy down that command and run it inside your terminal. New terminal, enter. So this is done. We can import star as haptics from Expo haptics. Here I'm going to say a haptics dot, I'm going to use the impact async, and I'm going to say haptics dot impact feedback style dot light, and next I'm going to call your toggle reaction of your post dot id comma your type. Okay, next I'm also going to write the function for handle report now itself. So handle report equals to a normal arrow function. If already reported is true, then try to return. We need not run the command. Else I'm going to add alert box. You can take a look at it with the alert message. Import alert from React Native. On press, again include the haptics part. It's going to be of type warning, and call the report post of the post ID. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the entire component. We have designed it perfectly. So I think for the pressable, we need to give some on press. We're going to do that. And over here for your button, that is all of your reactions, we need to give the on press. That's going to be handle react. On press, here I'm going to say taking a function, and here we're going to say handle react of your type. Let's try to save the file. So yeah, this part is done. And for the reporting button, I'm going to say on press is going to be equals to handle report. This is the one. Save the file. Now yeah, let's come back to the index.tsx where we are rendering the post over here, because we need to provide some spacing. Here I'm going to give it some px04, some horizontal space. There you go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's try to react, and boom, just like that, is working properly fine, but the count is not increasing. It's selecting. Okay, so yeah, there is some issue with respect to the count. So it should become 1, by the way, but that's not changing. Let's look into this where we have gone wrong. It's actually working. As you can see, we are able to see 1 onto the screen, but it's too light. Okay, so we just need to style that a little different. Yeah, but I've not made any change over here within the toggle reaction method. It's the exact same thing. Just try to reload once. Okay, and let me just verify once again my post card, if at all there is any issue with respect to that. For the style part, I'm just gonna change the style for the first piece of text. Or let's just make it white for now, text white. Okay, let's make this as text white. There you go. Just like that, now it's working properly fine. We're able to choose each of the reactions, and only you can choose one at a time. Okay, so this is working properly fine. So yeah, this part is done. Next, let's come back to the use post store, and then let's write the function for report posts or report a post. Come back to over here. Yep, so over here I'm gonna first of all check in or get in all of the reported IDs. That's gonna be coming from the get method. So it should be reported post IDs, and here check if at all reported post IDs dot includes of your post ID. Then over here I'm gonna say return error, you have already reported this post. Here I'm going to say const post is going to be equals to get dot go into the posts, and I'm going to apply the find method in JavaScript. For every value, I'm going to check if at all the p.id is going to be equal to the post ID that's coming from your parameter over here. If not of post, then directly try to return. I'm going to say return error. Let's say post is not found. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to say set reported posts is going to be your new reported IDs. Yeah, first of all, let's try to access that. Const new count is gonna be your post dot your report underscore count +1. Your new reported ID should be updated now, equals to whatever is there within the reported IDs, and add in your new post ID into it. That's it. So your reported post ID should be equals to new reported IDs, and your posts should be equals to, check if at all your new count is greater than or equals to your report height threshold. If that's the case, then I'm going to say get dot posts dot filter for every value. Here I'm going to say p dot id should not be equals to the post id, else it is going to be this one. I'll be adding that. You can take a look at it. That's it. Let's try to format once. And once that's done, I'm going to set it into async storage. Here I'm going to say await your async storage dot use the set item. It's going to be the reported key. Value is going to be all of the reported IDs. So I'm going to say json.stringify of your new reported IDs. That's it. Next over here I'm going to say const error equals to await your Supabase dot from access the post table dot select, not select, dot update. Here we're going to say report count is going to be equals to new count dot equals your ID comma your post ID. And if at all there is any error, we need to manage that over here. If error, I'm going to set the value just like this, and here I'm going to say return error is going to be your error dot message. If not, just say return error is going to be null over here. That's it. Yeah, this part is done. We can try to report the post and let's see what exactly happens. First of all, I'm going to reload this once. Okay, and I'm going to say report. So as you can see, it's asking report this post. This will flag the post for a review. You can only report a post once. Report. Okay, so there is some issue with respect to this because it showed as reported and then again it came back to the report state, as you can see. So yeah, there is some kind of issue while reporting. We need to fix that up. So let me check again where we've gone wrong within your report post. Okay, so let me just check my previous code. Okay, my bad, the key is wrong, so there should be reported key. Okay, and we have not yet written the code for your, okay, yeah, now it's working fine. Okay, yeah, so the key was wrong over here and we have not yet written the code for the upsert post. That's important. Let's write for this as well. So what does this upsert post do? So this is basically the function that decides what happens to your local posts over here. Okay, when a change comes in from the Supabase real time. So either a brand new post being inserted onto the screen or onto the wall, or a existing post being updated, like a reaction count should increase or report count changing. Okay, so upsert basically means update if exists and insert if it doesn't. So yeah, let's understand this and then let's first of all write this. So here first of all I'm going to check const my campus as well as show all campus is going to be coming from get. Next here I'm going to say if my campus and not of show all campuses and if at all your posted campus is not equals to my campus. Here I'm just going to say return, and if is hidden of the post, I'm just going to set the posts to be of this, that is get dot posts dot filter. For every value, I'm going to say p dot id should not be equals to your post dot id, and then I'm directly going to say return over here. Okay, so the first check we're going to do is your campus filtering. Okay, so Realtime actually broadcasts every change on the whole posts table in the backend regardless of your campus. Okay, and if at all you're only scoped to your own campus and this incoming post, whatever is there, belongs to a different campus, we're going to just ignore it entirely. We're not going to do it onto your feed. I mean, we're not going to add it into your feed. Okay, so the second check is for the report threshold. Alright, so let's say if at all the post has crossed the report height threshold, in our case it's going to be 3, that's the count. We're going to remove it from the local list if it is present, and we're going to stop. Okay, so I'm going to check const exists equals to your get dot posts dot sum for every value. If at all your p dot id is going to be equals to your post dot id, I'm going to check if at all exists. I'm going to set the posts to be of this. You can take a look at it. Else I'm just going to say set your posts to be of whatever is there in the post, and then spread the get dot posts, include the new ones. Save the file. So yeah, this part is done. Now let's give this a try. I'm going to say report. Okay, still we are not able to report it. It's just flickering and then it's again coming back to the previous state. Also, just found out the issue. Basically there is no report count in the backend. That's the reason it's failing. Let's come back over here and let's execute the query. Let's alter the posts table and then let's try to add in the report count, and it's going to be of type int. Initially not null, default is going to be 0. Let's run it. Okay, as you can see now it's present. Let's actually go ahead and then verify if at all it's added. Okay, for that I'm just going to say select id content report count from the posts, limit is going to be 5. Run. There you go, we are able to see this and report count is 0. So now let's give this a try. Let's try to do a hard reload and hopefully this time it should work, and boom, just like that, as you can see this is reported. Okay, so yeah, this part is working properly fine. So we are done with most of the bit. Next, if at all they press on this, they would be navigated to the next one. That's going to be a id.tsx. That's going to be the post detail screen. So I'm going to create that app and then a new folder, post, and then a specific id.tsx. That is going to be for that specific post where we're going to show the replies basically. Okay, so here let's try to initialize this. So initially const empty underscore replies, that is going to be of reply equals to empty array. Import reply. I think reply is not yet added. It should be coming from your types reply where we have the types. I'm going to say new one, reply.ts. okay, here I'm going to say export interface. I'm going to say reply, id is going to be of string, your post underscore id is also going to be of string, content to reply string, created at is also going to be of string. Okay, so now go ahead and then import it from the types just like this. Okay, so here I'm going to say export default function. I'm going to name it post detail screen. Here I'm going to say const id equals to use local search params. It's going to take in the id of string. Next I'm going to say const reply text comma your set reply text. This is that. So this is a text that is going to be replied over here for that specific confession, equals to use state initially empty string, next const submitting comma set submitting equals to use state initially set to be of false. Next I'm going to get in all of the post replies, fetch replies, add reply, and then subscribe to reply as well. So const post is going to be equals to access your store and get only that post which matches with the ID. So s dot find, go into the posts first and then find for every value over here p.id should be equals to your ID. Next const replies equals to use post store of s, and then over here I'm going to check if at all ID is there, then it's going to be s dot your reply post by ID. I'll be adding this, you can take a look at it. Okay, my bad, your reply store is not yet added. Okay, I think over here the reply store is not yet there, so yeah, we need to add in that. Let's go ahead and then do that. Save the file, come back over here to your store first, then I'm going to say new file. It's going to be your use replies store.ts. Here I'm going to say interface replies store. So I'm going to say replies by post. This is going to be of type record string comma reply. Import reply from your types. Okay. Next, your loading is going to be set to type boolean. Fetch all of the replies for that specific confession. It's going to take in a post ID of string. Here I'm going to say your promise of void. Next is for the add reply. I'm going to say post ID is going to be of string, comma your content is also going to be of string. It's going to be of type promise, error of string or null. And the next one is for the subscribe to your replies. Copy that and then add it over here. Save. Here I'm going to say export const use replies store is going to be equals to create method from Zustand of type reply store. That is the one that we just defined. It's going to have your set and get. Here I'm going to say replies by post is going to be an empty object. Loading is going to be false. Okay, so the next step is to fetch the replies from the backend for each specific post, correct? I'm going to say fetch replies. It's going to be an async function. It's going to have in your post ID, by the way, of string. Okay, so first of all I'm going to set your loading to be of true. Next const data comma error equals to await your Supabase, import it from the lib, dot from, go into the replies table, select everything, dot select of your star. It should be equals to the post underscore ID. It should match it, by the way. And I'm gonna order by as well of created at. Okay, and then ascending is gonna be true. Okay, so next, if not of error and data, I'm going to set the replies by post to be of the get replies by post, and for that specific post ID, add in the data that's going to be of reply. Next, I'm going to say set your loading is going to be false. Next, you're going to add it for the add reply that's going to be coming over here. So again, this is going to be a async function. It's going to take in your post ID that's going to be of string, and your content also is going to be of string. Next, const trimmed equals to content dot trim. Okay, and if at all your trimmed dot length is equals to 0, then I'm going to say return error reply cannot be empty. Okay, and if at all your trim dot length is greater than 200 characters, again we're going to return an error and we're going to say reply is too long. Next, let's try to get up the data and the error that's going to be coming from Supabase. So await your Supabase dot from, I think I'm not sure the replies is added, I mean the replies table, by the way. So replies dot insert. So here I'm going to say post ID, that's going to be of post ID, and content is going to be trimmed, it's mentioned above. I'm going to say dot select and it's going to be dot single. Okay, and if at all there is any error over here, then here I'm going to say return error dot message. Okay, so now the next step is to also add it locally right away instead of waiting for the real-time echo. So once you press on this and you enter a comment, it should be added then and there. So I'm going to say const new reply is going to be equals to your data as a reply. Okay, next const existing equals to get dot your replies by post of post ID if not a empty array. Const already there equals to your existing dot some method for every r. I'm going to say r dot id should be equals to your new reply dot id, and if not of already present, so then I'm going to say replies by post. First of all, I'm going to set the value, you need to use that, and then I'm going to set the replies by post just like this. Okay, next over here we're going to say a return error is going to be equals to null. Okay, now we have the last step, that's going to be subscribe to all of the replies. Okay, here I'm going to say subscribe to replies. This is for a specific post ID, by the way. So string over here, I'm going to say const channel equals to Supabase dot channel. Here I'm going to say replies, and this is going to be the post ID dynamic. I'm going to say dot on, we've done this previously, of the Postgres changes. Here itself I'm gonna have in the event that's going to be insert, schema is public, table is going to be for the replies, and filter is going to be your post ID. I'll be adding that properly, you can take a look at it here. Next, your payload is going to come. Okay, so const reply equals to your payload dot new, as that reply is already defined above, and const existing equals to you get dot your replies by post of your post ID, if not empty array. Again, I'm going to get in the already there, and I'm going to set it over here as we have done previously. You can just copy that from the above one. Okay, so yeah, wrong spelling for reply, and here I'm going to say dot subscribe. Okay, and here we're going to do the cleanup. Just below this, I'm going to say dot return, just return. Here I'm going to say your Supabase dot remove channel of your channel. That's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is the entire code for the reply store. We can actually try to give a on press, okay, onto the index or onto your postcard basically. So just let me see where exactly is that. On press should be router dot push to a new screen. So come back to the postcard, to the outermost pressable. Just give it just like this, import router, save. We already do have that created, id.tsx. Here let's try to return a value so that we can actually navigate to it. I'm gonna have a safe area view. Okay, for this class name flex of 1 and then bg base of 950. Let's try to give this a try, and boom, just like that we are coming correctly to the post ID screen. So we are able to see the header. We can make it as false by including it within the underscore layout.tsx. That's going to be done over here. There you go. Just like that we are able to navigate. It's working properly fine. Let's complete designing this. That's going to be the last bit, and we're almost done with the application. So here I'm going to get in all of the values, that is post, replies, fetch reply, add reply, and then subscribe to replies. Instead of this, it's going to be coming from the use reply store. Okay, yeah, that's it. And over here, if not of post, we can directly try to again return a safe area view. Within that, a text which is going to say post is not found. Import text from React Native, safe area view. I'm going to say class name, give it a flex of 1 and bg base of 950, item center, and then justify of center as well. For post not found, I'm going to say class name, it's going to be text missed of 400, save. So now actually let's go check in the backend, if at all the table is there for your replies. Okay, it's already added. We have ID, post, UUID, and then content and created at. Let's first of all check your SQL editor, that is all of the queries we have done. Just I'm cross checking. Yeah, as you can see, the replies has been added. Yeah, I think everything has been added for replies. If there is any issues, we can come back and check it later. So yeah, this step is done. So now the next step is, let's try to design the view over here within the return block, the main one. Having a view, within that I'm going to have a pressable and a text which is going to look just like this. Import your view from React Native as well as your pressable as well, and router too. As you can see, that's looking good. So for the view over here, class name px of 4, pt of 2, I'm going to say flex of row, and then your items of center, save. Okay, that's looking fine. Below the view, I'm going to use my keyboard avoiding view. Here I'm going to say behavior. So if all your platform.os is equals to iOS, then it's going to be padding, else it's going to be undefined. Okay, and I'm also going to give a class name over here. So class name, give it a flex of 1. Here I'm going to say import flat list from React Native, and pass in the data. That's going to be replies for that specific post. Key extractor. Okay, I'm going to say item. Here I'm going to say your item.id. Content container style. I'm going to say padding of 16, and then your padding bottom of 8, and your list header component equals to, I'm going to have view, and then directly call the postcard component for that specific post. This is going to expect a post that's going to be post for that specific post ID. The data would be already saved. Next, I'm going to say text over here. Here I'm going to check replies.length. If it is, after this, your replies.length, if it is equals to 1, then I'm going to say reply, else I'm going to say replies. Next is I'm going to render the item. So render item method. So this in turn is going to destructure the item within this. So item, just like this, and try to return a view. Within that, the text, which is going to contain the item.content. For the view, bg base of 800, rounded is going to be xl, px of 3, py of 2, mb of 2, border, and then border base of 700. Okay, here I'm going to say class name, text of sm, text mist of 100, save, and boom. Just like that, as you can see, we're able to see that onto the screen. And I'm also going to add in your list empty component. That's going to come over here, save. As you can see, no replies yet because we haven't added any reply to this specific one. Have an outermost view. Next is your text input. Your value is going to be of reply text. Okay, and your on change text is going to be set reply text. Your placeholder is going to be reply anonymously, and I'm going to add in the design as well as the placeholder text color. Save. Okay, that's looking fine. So class name for this, I'm going to say flex of row, and then item center, px of 4, py of 3. Your border is going to be of top, and border base of, let's say, 800, and then a gap of 2. As you can see, that's looking neat. And I'm going to have a pressable for the handle send. You can take a look at it. That's going to come right below the text input over here. Handle send, let's define it above onto the top. So here I'm also going to have a use effect. First of all, that's going to be dependent upon the ID, by the way. Here I'm going to check if not of ID, then directly try to return. Next, I'm going to say fetch your replies of that specific ID, and const unsubscribe equals to subscribe to replies of your ID, and I'm going to do the cleanup over here, return unsubscribe. That's it. And here next I'm going to define my handle send. So const handle send is going to be equals to async function. Again, if not of ID, or your reply text dot trim dot length is equals to 0, then directly try to return. Okay, next set submitting to be of true, await add reply of the ID, and then reply text. Next I'm going to say set submitting to be of false, and set your reply text to be of a empty string. Okay, save the file, and as you can see, it's looking good. I'm just going to say hey over here, and then reply, and boom, just like that, it's coming over here. So that's how it's going to work. So it's just going to be like a thread. Okay, for any particular confession you can go and then add all of the things over here. Okay, so yes, that's pretty much it. So we have done most of the things and we have implemented everything. So one small bit is to change the underscore layout of the tabs because it's still in white color. So you can just add this piece of code. Okay, just change the screen options, by the way. That is your tab inactive color, tab tint color, and then the tab bar style. Alright, so yes, that's pretty much it about the entire application. You can add in more confessions. It's gonna get added over here. Let's say this is a rant. I don't think we can paste it, so yeah, I'm just gonna say this is a rant confession about the person I saw first at college, something random, and then post. There you go, just like that, it's showing up over here. You can react it, unreact. Now it's gonna work properly fine. Okay, so yeah, that's what we have built. A very simple kind of beginner level application. You can also change this over here. Okay, so we can also try to change the colleges, even that is going to work properly fine. Let's say I want to choose Dayanand Saga College. Okay, so for this specific wall there are no confessions yet, so it's not going to show anything. Okay, so yeah, if at all you press on view all, it's going to show up all of the colleges, all of the confessions for all campuses, as you can see. Okay, so yeah, that's the entire project in a simple way. And if you found something interesting and you liked the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So yes, that's it about this video. Let's see you in the next one, and then thank you for watching.